Mic check 1 2 1 2. It's the Y2K collector, and I am back with another video. It's been a long day, a long day. So this is not going to be a long video, but I am going to show you about 9 awesome games that I picked up today. I'll do a little bit more elaborating in the video tomorrow, but I just casually walked into GameStop, saw a bunch of games that I never really see there, or at least I don't see them there anymore. A lot of them were cheap, which is always fun. So I picked those up. And then I'm going to end off by showing you a game that I've been waiting for almost a month, and it's finally come in. So really excited about that. So the first game we're going to show is Bladestorm The 100-Year War. When I saw this kind of gave me like Dynasty Warriors vibes for some reason. It may or may not play that way. I'm not sure what this game is, if it's an RPG, how it plays, but it was complete and in pretty good condition. And it was $8 or $7.50 with the pro membership. So I decided to take a flyer on it and see what it was about, add it into the collection for the PlayStation 3. Next game that we have here is another pretty cool one. This is Rise of the Argonauts. So this kind of has that same kind of hack and slash style feel. Although when I did kind of YouTube some of the gameplay on this, it gave me like PC gaming vibes. Like feels like a game I would have played on like my computer back in like 2000, like 98, 99 or something. But decided to take another flyer on this one. This one was also pretty cheap, $6.64. So not bad, like a $7 game. I figured it'd be worth a shot, so I went ahead and grabbed that one as well. Then I found some really cool 360 games today. Glad I was able to kind of complete a series. I'll show you that in a second. But the first game that I have here is Divinity 2 Ego Draconis. And I think this might be the game that plays like a PC game from 1998. Now that I think about it, yeah, this is the game that I YouTubed some footage of. Seems like a Diablo-ish type of game. Know nothing about it. Know nothing about any of these games. I just picked them up based on cover art and about 10 seconds of gameplay that I may have looked at on YouTube, and also price factored into it as well. Another decent game, $6.64 on that one. So these are like a bunch of like little $7 games that I never see at GameStop. Figured I'd try them out. All right, now we're gonna get into some better stuff. So the next game that I saw there was The Last Remnant on the Xbox 360. Now, I picked this game up because 1, I've heard about it a bunch of times before. 2, it is a Square Enix game, and I am starting to kind of add more RPGs into the collection because I will have some time to kind of get into them here in the next few months. 3, this was like, mind you, all of these games are absolutely complete in box, but this was like super complete. It had both of the discs, it had the manual, and then I don't know if this is some type of map or poster or something that comes with it, but it did come with that as well. There was so much stuff that came with this. I was wondering, like, does it also come with like a slipcover? Is it missing a slipcover? So I don't know. You guys can let me know down in the comments if this game comes with a slipcover. But this is not a very expensive game at all. $10 game from GameStop. I was stoked to find it in really solid condition, so went ahead and added it to the collection as well. Then we found another one, 99 Nights. So I recently picked up 99 Nights Part 2. And I remember I had both Part 1 and Part 2 on the Xbox 360 a while back before I sold a bunch of Xbox 360 games. And back then, both of these games were like $6 games. They weren't expensive at all. But at the point of the Xbox store, or the Xbox 360 store shutting down, for some reason, 99 Nights Part 2 just skyrocketed in price. And I'm not sure why that one did and this one didn't. I'm gonna think it's probably because, and I'm just realizing this, the first one was a Microsoft Studios game where I'm pretty sure Part 2 was made by Konami. And you know, Konami is known for great gameplay. They've always been known for great gameplay. When I was growing up, it was who's better, Capcom or Konami. So, but found this one, added it to the collection as well. Here's another addition to the collection, Dynasty Warriors Gundam. Now, this is not one that I'm like, you know, over the moon about, because I did have a copy of this on the PS3, but I didn't have it on the 360. I may or may not keep this. I'm tempted. I may or may not keep it. I'm not sure. It did come complete. The manual's in great condition. I mean, the game itself is in really good condition. All these 360 games were in like really good condition. That was another factor why I bought them. Whenever I can find like really good condition 360 games, I always add them. So this was one I picked up. They had that one there for 18. This next one, didn't really get a deal on this or anything. I'm pretty sure that this is almost the current market value for this Raiden game. But I picked up Raiden 4 on the 360. Now this one did come super complete. It came with the soundtrack, it came with the manual, it came with all the goodies that it normally comes with. This isn't the special edition or anything. And I know they came out with a Raiden by Makido remix on the Nintendo Switch, which is like basically an upgraded version of this game with more features and stuff. It could have more than that. You guys can let me know in the comments, but I do know that they released this game on the Switch. But this is one I didn't have on the 360, and 23 bucks. I figured I'd check it out. I think this goes for like 30 to 35 bucks online when it's like fully complete. So this is one that I was glad to find. Found some really cool stuff for the 360. And then we've been talking so much about GameStop Retro. Well, guess what? GameStop had a copy of Urban Reign on the PlayStation 2. Now, anybody who knows me knows that I love me a good beat 'em up, whether it be a 2D or 3D beat 'em ups. And this is a 3D beat 'em up, which I think is like this is kind of like a spiritual successor to, what's that game? There is a game that I think this is the spiritual successor to. I cannot remember it off the top of my head. I believe it came out on the PS1 and the Nintendo 64. But if you guys can remember or know, let me know down in the comments. But they did have this one, and I need you guys to bear with me. It's been a long day. Man, I am exhausted. I'm surprised I even have the energy to make this video right now. But yeah, they had this game there at GameStop, and I know a lot of people have been talking about, like, GameStop and the retro, and GameStop keeps talking about all this retro, but they don't have any retro at the store, yada, yada, yada. I mean, when GameStop carries like quality games like this, complete in box, and this is typically like a $40 to $45 game, right? So it's not like they had it half off or anything. But when you can go into GameStop and find quality PS2 games like this is really what's going to make people like really want to get involved with that retro scene. But the crazy thing is that I picked all these games up from a GameStop that hasn't even been designated as a retro store. And I don't know, I'm starting to get confused really as to which stores in my area are the retro stores. It's like, it's hard for me to even gauge at this point. I don't know. But I think they should just leave it. I think they should every store should just have its own retro section, and whatever retro games come in. Declaring retro and all this stuff when it looks like you obviously haven't really changed anything about your stores, and there's nothing, you didn't do any type of ramp up to make a real noticeable push or change. Like, yeah, we're seeing them trickle in, but we've been seeing retro games trickle in for months, if not years now. So I don't know. I think they should just let each store get their own retro, and just let each store, I'd much rather have each store have a retro section than have designated retro stores. That's just me. You guys can let me know down in the comments. Which would you rather? Would you just rather every GameStop have a retro section? Or do you want them to continue this foolishness of having retro stores? Bro, there's nothing retro about it. But anyway, you guys can let me know down in the comments. All right, I have one more game to show you guys. This game I am so stoked about. And I'm not even gonna waste any more time. Rapid Reload on the Sony PlayStation. Now, I've gotten a lot of import games in my collecting journey. Import games from Radiant Silvergun to Hyperduel to a lot of them have been on the Saturn, really. That's really where the bulk, if not all of them, have been. This is my first PlayStation 1 import, and it might be my last. There's one other PlayStation import game that I'm looking at. It's called Crisis Beat. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get that, but I might get that. But this is a very, very dope run and gun shooter game on the PlayStation. Think Gunstar Heroes meets Metal Slug. This game was never released in the States. This is an authentic copy, although I think the insert are missing the spine. So I may just order like a replacement insert for it, just so that it has more of a complete look, but it is complete. And it does come with a manual, a legit manual, because this manual looks like it's been through some things. It's been through some time. And the cool thing about this manual, it's thick, not because there's a lot of information in it, but because this game was sold for the PAL region. So the instructions come in like English, French, German, it's like a multi-language, a multilingual, however you say that, manual. And then you have the disc here, which has some stickers on it. I'm guessing this was in some store that was out in Germany. I always hold my breath when I make these large purchases from overseas, because this is by no means a cheap game. I did not pay what the going market rate is for it. Even in this condition, I did not pay that. I was able to kind of talk the seller down to a reasonable price, especially for it coming with an authentic manual and cover. You know, these PAL games are different from like PlayStation games, because like with PlayStation games, like, I'm sorry, the PAL games are different from like the NTSC games, because like with the NTSC games, normally like the manual on a PlayStation game is the cover. But when it comes to the PAL games, they all come with like a paper cover that they slip in, and then the manual just kind of sits inside of the game on top of the disc, I guess. So it's a very cool setup. It's different, and the cases are like way thicker than the American cases, which is just a cool take on things, man. It's so cool just to have something like this. Was just in Germany a couple weeks ago. Someone on the other side of the planet was jamming out to this, and I'm really stoked to get into this game for sure. So I'm gonna have some gameplay footage for you guys. I don't typically do the gameplay footage, but I'm definitely going to be getting some gameplay footage of that for those of you who have never heard of Rapid Reload. Really cool game. I mean, if you want to see some official footage, you could just YouTube it now. But if you are a fan of the run and gun genre, you will definitely be digging that. That's all I got for you today. I am burnt. I'm going to go get some sleep. And tomorrow, I'll definitely have a better video for you. Plus, I think there's I do believe that I'm going to be coming up on some retro stuff here real soon in my local GameStop. So I'll keep you guys in the know on that. But for now, it's the Y2K Collector. Hopefully you're having a great weekend, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy.